Hi, welcome to the Tryforce podcast, where we talk about video games, we talk about movies, anime now, apparently.
Yeah, we're fucking multimedia at this point.
That alone is going to get us copyright.
Watch the show. No.
It's the Tryforce.
You know, it's actually pretty crazy. If I hadn't been invited to a very specific Sweet 16 based on a friend that I knew, I would have never met Colton. And then as a result, I would have never even met Rayne. Boom. Butterfly effect.
Oh,
Until Dawn today,
damn.
boys. Yeah, we're talking about Until Dawn, the butterfly effect, and lots of spookiness will be had.
Ooh, I love that. That's real. You know, that is super interesting. I was thinking about that the other day because we have a mutual friend who, if I had not met him, I wouldn't know you, and my life would be entirely different. It's super weird to think about.
I don't want to discuss the chain of events that led me meeting up to you guys, because it's not a happy time.
No, but all decisions and all things kind of lead down one path, and thankfully this one leads you to talk about 2016's Until Dawn from Supermassive Games, which I really, really enjoy, and I believe the three of us kind of have this sort of shared, distant mutual enjoyment of it.
Yeah, I mean, I recently kind of got into it, and I am a sucker for a good horror game. I love me the spooks, and I'm very shocked that I didn't see this game until now, and oh my lord, I loved it from the start to finish. Like, there was nothing about it I didn't there was most things about it I didn't like. There was a lot about that game I loved it so much. Their writers need to be put in a room and talked to, but the dialogue writers need to be sat in a room and with actual people.
Easily.
But other than that, the game was fucking brilliant, and I can't wait to get into it.
Word, I think that if you have a character design that is just loose tropes, then you kind of run afoul of the same kind of dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they studied these characters for 5 minutes. This felt like the kind of writing where when a book author is clearly an only child and they're trying to write for siblings, it's like, hi bro, what's going on, sis? It's like, have you ever met siblings?
Dude, I called my brother an asshole and then was like, take me to Michael's.
For real.
But the thing with this game is it was supposed to really be a stereotypical horror movie kind of feel. So you had all of those the writers watched one horror movie from the early 2000s and said, we know how to write horror. From the early
2000s, you say? Do you think they might have watched 2006 Sayla?
No,
We're done.
I don't think that's what they watched.
We're leaving it in the past. It never happened. It never happened.
Because of this podcast, we butterfly affected into having fans who then requested us to do that. So,
that is very true. Through the butterfly effect, we stumbled upon 2006's Stay Alive. So there it is.
I think that we have been planning this particular podcast for a while, actually. I think we were meant to do this around last Halloween.
I think Zach and we discussed doing this last year because we were really excited to do this. But then we did just an overall horror episode.
Yeah, which I do believe we mentioned Until Dawn in it, I think.
We did. Me and you talked about it. And then due to unfortunate circumstances, I missed the last few weeks, so we had to push this off till now.
Yeah, but here we are now. So I was at work, and I've played this game 8 times now. I want to say 8 times, because I keep showing it to people. And then they're like, I need to see how this ends. And I'm like, bet, okay, I'll be back next week. You can give me another 4 hours of your time. So I compiled a loose kind of recollection of the plot from memory. So we can start with that, or we can start talking about the actual game itself. Gameplay wise, it's not exactly, Shakespeare.
No,
No, it is not.
You move, you have a flashlight, and then you click objects, and then you have to find the shinies, click X.
It's like old school Silent Hill.
And like people grab things totally like they grab things in this video game, by the way. I don't know about you, but whenever I reach for something, I grab it lightly and then just immediately flick my wrist 180 degrees around to look at it.
Oh, yeah. I can't tell
also yank things aggressively.
I can't tell you how many times I have found what I'm looking for in the exact same position as everything else before it. Like,
oh fuck. Yeah. So, gameplay wise, not insane. Lore wise, story wise, amazing.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
Phenomenal.
dialogue wise, garbage. Horrible.
I think that's
Some
the
of the
understatement of the century. Like, if I could just meet the character writer for Emily, like, I need to talk with them for at least like a 16-hour lecture period.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I need
With
to
quizzing.
know. Yeah, with quizzing, like, have you met other people before? Is this your first time? Are you guessing what a human sounds like? You know, just
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So let's dive into the actual part of the story. So I think at its core, Until Dawn is a playable horror movie. Really, it's not really a video game. It is a sure there's UI and there's player interaction with the game, but I think it's more along the lines of a story that you can have a stake in and are making the decisions behind. Like you see a horror movie and you're like, no, you fucking idiot. Why would you do that? Why would you do this? Why would you why would you hide behind the chainsaws? Like, you're an idiot. Like, what are you doing? But like, now you have that kind of onus and you make the decisions. And if somebody dies, it's your fault,
Right.
So there's that. It's obviously got some cool, slasher film kind of vibes. And it's also got a very like, mythologically based, supernatural element to it as well, which I really liked, that there was both a human and a supernatural threat in this game.
Yeah, it was like, and the way they did it was really cool, where, they kind of did the big reveal kind of in the middle of the game. It's like, oh, it was just a prank, bro. It was just a prank. And
Whoa, relax.
Like,
Hey.
what? Okay. If you're listening to this, you have played the game at this point. That's
No, who's to say
That's
that?
not true.
Oh, come
Who's
on.
to say that?
Oh,
Who's saying that?
Oh my God.
The entire point of us doing this is if someone hasn't seen it before and is like, oh, go give it a shot.
Oh my God. So is this a no spoiler review then?
Yes.
How are we going to do that?
Oh shit! No, I was just gonna throw.
Because-
No, we can't do that.
No.
This is a spoiler.
Fear not, my friend. Fear not, because I have a from memory recap of Until Dawn in order with all the hot, searing plot points in order. All right?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Good. So we are opening up a year before the events of the game. We're at the Washington Family Lodge in a nondescript mountain. I don't know if it's actually set someplace, so I should probably know that, but I don't. And we center on a group of high school friends. Let's get the siblings out of the way. There is the Washingtons in question. Josh, played by Rami Malek, who does a great job with this role, and his sisters Hannah and Beth. So don't get too attached. There is
Well, no
Emily
spoilers,
and Mike.
Zach. No spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You mean the inciting incident of the entire fucking game?
Yeah.
The entire game's first plot point. You're just salty because you didn't.
Oh,
You're just salty.
That part. I thought we were doing this in order.
That's what we're
my
doing.
God.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I didn't say what happens to them. I said don't get too attached. We got Emily and Mike. They're together at this point. They've got they like that. We got Jessica, who is a very prototypical cheerleader-esque character, Emily is very smart. Mike is a douchebag, and he's like the class president or whatever. Sam is Hayden Panettiere, plays Sam. Also, the characters and actors, they're mocapped, like, so they look like the actors in question, and their facial expressions are very similar. We have Ashley, who is a big fave, and her actress's name is actually, she's got a Lord of the Rings reference. First name, or Galadriel Steinman. I just always thought that was pretty cool. Chris, he's a big nerd, and Matt, who is a huge jock. So they basically have every single possible. Ashley's like a quiet girl, I guess. Like, there's every possible Breakfast Clubby trope in this one fucking lodge.
Yeah, they really are just the Breakfast Club, but like they're like the Great Value Breakfast Club. I love them.
It's crazy. So the big thing here is that even Emily and Mike are together, but Hannah Washington is in love with Mike, right? So Hannah's got a real big thing for Mike. So obviously, what do you do when you're friends, just on the cabin someplace? You get drunk. You get very drunk. And a slightly, everybody's having a good time, and Hannah is slipped a note that was forged by Jessica, if you pay enough attention, actually, to tell her to come to a room to meet with Mike, wherein they kind of play a prank on Hannah, which equates to hiding in the closet with a camcorder while she takes her shirt off. I never really understood the kind of, like, I guess it kind of sucks to, like, be, have your feelings made a fool of, but, like, nothing really happened. I hate to side with the bullies of this game, but, like, I never understood the prank, like...
Imagine being 16 and thinking that the guy you likes you back, and then all of your friends are filming you. It would really suck, and I understand completely, and it's kind of like a little traumatizing because like not only are your feelings being played with, but all of your friends are in on the joke. Like, how would you feel if like me and Colton did something like really shitty to you and we were like, oh, it's a prank, bro?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
I totally understand it from Hannah's point, because in high school I had a similar prank pulled on me. I actually thought I was going to get a girlfriend, and it turns out it was a fucking joke. So, yeah.
I just always figured that, like, she was kind of doing this pining from afar thing, and, like,
well, yeah,
Mike
she was
thoroughly with Emily. Like, I didn't understand, like, I mean, it's not important. I think that it's, obviously, it sucks.
It's fucked up, but, like, it's, yeah.
I don't know if Hannah's next move is exactly the smartest thing on earth, but Beth actually sees this dude outside, and he's like, "What the fuck? Like, I thought it was just going to be up to us this weekend," and he factors in a bit later, but Hannah is discovered that she like ran out. And Beth probably gives the most wooden line in the world, where she goes, "What's going on? Where's my sister going?"
Yeah. Oh my God. Like it felt like they got like.
I have never felt more emotion in my life.
I don't think they got a voice actress for Beth. Like, I think they just used a text to speech. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean?
Hannah flies off into the woods, and Beth pursues, where they hear strange noises and are pursued by something to an edge of a cliff, where Beth falls, clinging both to the cliff with one hand and Hannah with the other, and the player is confronted with their first major choice. It happens, the same thing happens as a result, but you can either let go of the ledge or let go of Hannah. So there's a lot of kind of player-driven decisions, Telltale style gameplay, where your decisions affect the overall plot, and that's kind of the big one. They promptly fall and are assumed to be dead. The next year, Josh, who has been going to psychiatric treatment under Dr. A.J. Hill, invites his friends back to the lodge in honor of the memory of his sisters, which it seems like an interesting move.
Yeah, I personally would not fucking do that. Like, if two of my best friends died at a lodge in the mountains, and like the same guy who hosted it last year was like, "Yo, we're gonna go back to the lodge. We're gonna have a party," I'd be like, "No, we are definitely not doing that."
Especially after like you pull a nasty ass prank and like because like if that was me, I'd be like, "Oh, no." Considering we're the reason this happened, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Like, maybe we could honor them another
but
way.
I do think the guilt is kind of what makes a lot of them go, is they feel bad.
Or you could just say, "Hey, Josh, fucking come down from the mountain, you hermit, and just like come rejoin society, please."
Yeah, and he it's so weird because the plot is kind of revealed to you at this point through Sam on the bus, and she pulls up a video of Josh that's like supposed to be part of a newscast. And he's just like, "I've got Josh Washington," and he's like, "Hello, friends and fans," and he's like, "We're gonna party like we're fucking porn stars," and he's like, "You're on TV, Josh. Like, what are you doing?"
So, I mean, that's obviously what you do, though. Like, that's clearly your next move.
Oh yeah,
obviously, guys. After what happened last year, things have changed, right? Namely, being Hannah and Beth are no longer breathing.
Yeah, I'd fucking say.
But as well, Emily and Mike break up. Emily begins dating Matt, who is a sweetheart, one of my favorite characters, and Mike gets with Jessica, right? So now there's kind of two couples where there was once one, and there is drama.
I need this to be known that Mike and Jessica are the most boring couple.
Oh
yeah, they are. Like,
oh my god,
like if Wonder Bread could reproduce, like, you know what I mean? It's bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's the all-American dream, a football player. You know, like
a football player and a cheerleader.
Oh, who saw that coming?
And your preppy ass cheerleader who's a bitch. Wow, amazing,
who saw
fantastic.
that coming?
Oh, she's an airhead too? Oh my god, just add it to the list.
Oh, she's blonde? Look at that. Oh, man.
Emily's smart and is inherently mean? Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, look at that shit.
So the group encounters each other on the trek to the cable car to the lodge. Chris and Sam meet up first. They do a little shooting range thing, and they ride up in the cable car together. Chris explains the butterfly effect and that how he never would have met Josh if some girl didn't get moved in class. And obviously, Jess is waiting for Mike, but she runs into Chris and Sam instead, where she fully defends her ground that Mike is her man now and shit. And then I think those three go up to the lodge. Then we have to deal with Emily and Matt, who's kind of like Emily's making him like carry all of her bags and like just being generally mean to him as she does throughout the entire plot. And Mike scares them. He kind of like jumps down and scares them. And as Matt, you can kind of like start. There are like relationships between characters that certain decisions can affect. And if your relationship with a certain character is too low, there are occasions where they could save you and they won't. So that's fun. I like talking about that because I think it's a really cool and understated dynamic of this game. You kind of have to decide what certain people would like and what wouldn't like. But obviously, Matt gets sent up to the lodge because Emily has to go back down and find something or some shit. And Ashley, weirdly enough, is just already fucking there. Like, she's just like if you're on time, if you're early, you're on time, and if you're on time, you're late kind of bitch, I guess. Because she's just
Ashley.
She's sitting there with the like I have no idea what the hell they're called, but they're like the stand-up binoculars that you see in like parks and shit. I have no idea what they're called, I gotta be honest. But she's looking and she sees something happening between Emily and Mike. It's never actually explained, but they're like getting generally like friendly as it regards to space and touching. So there, you can tell Matt that the telescope is busted, or you can let Matt look. And obviously, if he looks, it looks like Emily and Mike are like flirting or whatever. So he gets mad. Your relationship goes down with Mike. But also, if you tell him it's broken, I think something else. I can't remember. But the whole group now together, they encounter the problem. The biggest problem is that the lock on their front door is frozen shut. Chris and Josh then break into the garage, which is one of my favorite scenes because it contains my favorite line in the game, which is when he has to he falls in through the window into the garage and he says, "I should have paid more attention in climbing class." And there's a dead pause, and Josh just goes, "You mean gym?" I don't know. It's just something about it. It just really fucking gets me every time.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I can't say it's a good joke. It just makes me laugh.
No, you know what it is? It's like a moment of realism in the fucking game where the dialogue writers actually came in as people. It's like, I should have paid attention in climbing class. Who the fuck has you mean Jim? Like, you know, it's one of those.
That line.
Did you guys? No, go on.
That line made me laugh the first time I heard it because I never had to do like a rope climb or anything in gym. So for me, I just sat there and I was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
I was like, is this like some rich kid joke I'm too poor to understand? Like, is this?
I was like, is this public school? Did they do this in public school? I didn't go to one of those. Like, I'm confused.
So Chris goes into the bathroom where he retrieves a can of spray on deodorant.
Wait, can I say something about this?
Please.
This is the only jump scare that got me in the entire game.
The Wolverine
scene.
Yeah.
Because I need you to know, my dumb ass is playing this, and I'm just like, la 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 la, gotta get it from the bathroom, totally unsuspecting because it's still really early in the game.
Yeah. It's a Wolverine jump scare, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was like an actual wolf, and I was like, oh, what are they gonna do with this? So. Yeah, that was. I just want to know how it got into the house. You know, did Josh let it in?
I'm sure there's some floorboards somewhere.
I think Josh let it in. If
you have a ski lodge, you know, you just have to deal with bathroom wolves. It's just that simple. You know, you want to own property.
Yeah,
If you ever own a cabin up in the fucking mountains, this is just
the bathroom wolf. The scientific name, Poopus lupus.
Poopus lupus. Okay. Chris retrieves a spray deodorant can, which he uses in conjunction with a lighter to melt the lock and let the group in. Once inside, after some suspicious activity from Mike and Emily on the way up, being their little fucking thing that happened, the two couples begin to bicker and argue, incited by Emily. Josh becomes upset and says that this wasn't what this was supposed to be about. What is it supposed to be about, Josh? You guys getting drunk again?
Partying like porn stars.
Well, we
Don't
know.
you remember the
We know.
40 feet from where his sisters died? I don't think that's cool.
No, I don't think Josh is all there. I want to say, you know what I mean?
Doesn't have both oars in the water.
Definitely is not playing with a full deck. No.
So Josh becomes upset and gives Mike and Jessica the keys to another cabin off-site of the general cabin for some privacy. Which I also enjoy a line, and I believe I was talking to Colton about this when we were discussing this. I think before we was maybe doing Stay Alive, actually, that Josh hands them the keys and he says, again, got a real thing for porn, I guess. He goes, hey, porn stars, you forgot these, and throws them the keys or whatever. And she goes, porn stars? And he says, I would watch it. And he goes back inside, and then Mike goes, you know, I think Josh was flirting with you back there. He's like, no, Jessica goes, I think Josh was flirting with me. And Mike says, do you want me to invite him to come join us? And Jessica goes, wait, really? And he goes, no. So Jessica was
have a threesome.
She was definitely down for a Mike Josh sandwich, just a frozen DP out in the wilds, just crazy.
That happened. maybe if that happened, the rest of the shit that goes down wouldn't have happened.
Butterfly effect update.
Yeah, I don't know if
I know that it's been like 4 years, but can we get some DLC with just that?
I don't know if they're gonna add the double stick popsicle route. You know, it's just...
Oh my sweet God! All right. Josh, after Sam complains of a lack of hot water, takes her down to the boiler room where they restart it before being chased by a shadowy robed figure. The figure turns out to be none other than Chris, playing a joke by wearing some old movie costumes from Josh's father's basement, who is a movie director. So yeah, that's kind of
fucking cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously how this guy is affording this giant house, and they have all this crap in the basement. But the thing here is that Chris found a fucking like Ouija board, basically, which is never a good idea, really.
Especially 40 feet from where your sisters died. You know?
Yeah. Oh, what could go wrong?
Well, yeah.
Who could you pick up on that thing?
Yeah.
So Chris and Ashley definitely flirt a bit while Sam goes up to her bath, tired of all the spooky shenanigans. Chris ropes Ashley and Josh into using what he calls the spirit board, because I learned the term Ouija board is actually trademarked.
Yeah.
While Emily and Matt search for an apparent lost bag of Emily's. Mike and Jessica take the long trek to the cabin, where the latter half of their journey is marred by the discovery of a dying deer, which is promptly snatched off into the woods accompanied by growls. Having seen a sign warning of bears in the area, Mike seems content with his theory, as well as discovering a hunting rifle in a gun rack in this new cabin that Josh sent them to. Jessica is none too happy, specifically about losing her phone during the sprint to the cabin. Jessica asks Mike to prepare a fire to set the mood. So I have to talk about this.
I'm so glad, because I was going to stop you if you skipped over this.
I need someone to know this. Depending on your decision making in that sequence, you have times, I believe. There's set amounts of time that you can keep Jessica waiting, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you light the fire immediately, it definitely moves the story along, but you miss out on any of the clues that are in the cabin. Like, there's a way for you to get it. So, oh God, I hate that I'm explaining this, but I have to. So if you don't let her wait, there's your ultimate reward. But if you make her wait too long, she spends the rest of the game in, I believe it's just like a tank top and jeans. If you make her wait in like the middling range, it's just the tank top and no jeans and panties. But if you manage to get there in Jessica's appropriate amount of time, she spends almost the entire rest of this game, if she survives, in a bra and panties.
That is not the route I got.
It's not, but you can do it. You can do it.
It is negative 20 degrees. Why?
Listen, my first playthrough, she was in the bra and panties because I was just like, la 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 la, let's go fast.
I'll light a fire.
God.
I was like, all right, let's light a fire. God damn, if that's what you want.
Right. And so first off, there's two more things I have to say about this scene. Two more things, because one, Jessica says a line that I thoroughly believe no human female woman has ever said. I gotta be honest. And she has let's go with a speech that I'd like to talk about. So we talked about how this game has terrible dialogue. It's just bad. It's awful. Yeah. And she is like, Mike's like trying to get a move on with it already and start to try to hide the pickle and all that. And she's just not into it yet. She's she's not there. She needs a little romance, a little foreplay, so to speak. And she says, I know I act confident and like a total sexy babe and everything. I'm like, women do not talk like this. This is not how it works. This is
I don't think I've ever really spoken like that.
No one
I know
speaks
that I'm
like this.
non-binary, but still.
No one speaks like this. No one. I'd be very interested. Pornography actors, maybe they speak like that, but that's their job.
Like, yeah, no, just
I don't. Ugh, awful. However, I will contend that there's a sequence here where Jessica she's all mad about like losing her phone or whatever, and so they kind of start to try to get down, and there's a sound of breaking glass. And Mike goes to investigate. You see that like some drapes are fluttering, and you can see some snow coming in from the outside because Jessica's phone just comes crashing through the fucking window.
Yeah, it does.
Don't worry, it's fine. It's just bears.
And she's just
Colton
like,
does this all the time. It's
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've gone into a blind fit of rage and just started hawking cell phones. You know what I mean?
Throwing a pink Motorola Razor through the window. Yeah. Literally, Mike goes, "It's your phone." And her first response is, "How is it my phone?" It's so good. Because how is it my cell phone? Like,
to be fair, I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
How?
That would be
Oh, no.
How is it my phone, you dick?
So through this, Jessica is convinced that the rest of the gang, because they're a bunch of merry pranksters apparently, kind of just followed them and is kind of trying to kill their mood, their vibe. So you know what? I want to have this right. So if you need to cut this out in post, you can.
No, hear me out. I would be like, if it was me, I'd be like, damn, Josh really came through for that threesome, huh?
You just broke my fucking phone. Yes. Oh my God, it's there. Oh my God, I found it. Yes. Okay. All right. So, so Jessica believes that she's being pranked. So she storms out of the of the front door and just begins screaming into the woods. And she says, quote, "Hey, yeah, pricks. I know you're out there. The fuck are you trying to do? You want to ruin our fun that bad? Well, guess what? You can't. You can't ruin our good time because Michael and I are gonna fuck. That's right. We're gonna have sex and it's gonna be hot. So enjoy it because I know we're going to." And that is a Shakespearean soliloquy as far as I'm concerned.
That was, I think,
that in the MoMA.
I think that was the best. I agree. Where do we sign that petition?
That whole quote for you.
Yeah, please put it on a pillow for me.
And we'll do some really fancy embellishments.
Please.
Put
it on a pillow.
No. So when Mike returns to explain, obviously, so Jessica goes off on this fucking rant, shuts the door, and immediately is pulled out of the glass of the front door by skeletal hands with long fingernails.
Yeah, it's
once again, still bears.
It's just the bears, you know.
It's Colton, like, you know.
Some very emaciated bears.
Well, this is Colton when winter hits and like he can't go and like, you know, drink
I can't go
or whatever you drink.
I can't go.
Winters are hard, okay?
Yeah, this is me when I can't go catch salmon in the river and forage for berries outside.
Oh my god! I'm just imagining Bear Colton sleeping on his pile of empty banana fucking lean proteins. Oh my god, the lean bodies. Jesus.
Bust into my local nutrition store.
Man, did you all miss me? Like, I gotta know.
I did so much.
Very much so.
So much.
I have an entire cavern made out of empty lean body boxes.
That's
you got like it's just an Eeyore lean-to made out of them. Yeah. Back at the cabin, Chris, Ashley, and Josh prepare to use the spirit board. Ashley is chosen to act as the medium and ask the questions. Several disturbing answers are given by the board, including quote-unquote dead and quote-unquote sister. When Josh presses to figure out which of his dead sisters might be calling out to him, the spirit board provides the answer. B-E-T-H. Beth. At this, and before any other information can be obtained, the pointer flies off of the spirit board to Chris's amusement, Ashley's terror, and Josh's anger. So they all react to this scene very differently. Chris is like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, I don't believe in this. Very much like the Shane Madej skeptic going on. Ashley's really fucked up. Like, she's like, this was almost traumatizing for her. And Josh is like, this is bullshit. You guys were doing this. I don't know if you thought this was going to help me get through this or whatever, but you guys suck. You're full of it. Go suck a dick. And then he just like leaves. Which was, I mean, I want to say it's like appropriate, but also it's kind of not. Like, you're the one who's like, yeah, okay, let's use the Ouija board. Like,
but also, like, my thing about, like, Josh leaving is, do y'all not, like, remember, like, what happened a year ago? The reason y'all here? Like, don't leave.
Insane.
Don't leave. I just, this whole fucking, like, their decision making is god awful. Like, I know they're like,
It's
what,
so
17, right? Like,
yeah.
just, oh my Lord.
Yeah, I guess they're supposed to be in their senior year of high school.
I mean, traumatized teenagers really don't know how to make decisions. And that's coming from someone who was a traumatized teenager.
And if you were a traumatized teenager playing this game, you know, it's basically a realistic experience, you know? Based on something the Spirit said, Ashley suggests that she and Chris check the library together. Sam, who has taken in her bath, notices after some time that her clothes are missing. Because what a wacky, searing teen drama plot point that is.
Yeah.
So, with Jess and Mike at the cabin, Chris and Ashley in the library, Emily and Matt going to the cable car station to search for Emily's bag, and Josh elsewhere nursing his rage, Sam finds herself alone in a towel and believes her friends are pranking her by making her walk around in said towel. She goes to the home theater, where she is attacked by a psycho in a mask and large overalls. Sam runs into the bowels of the house and is eventually caught and tranquilized by the psycho by means of a gas mask.
I never liked that term, bowels of the house. Like, they said that like 4 times in the game, and I'm like, just call it the fucking basement. Like, what?
No.
Nah.
Don't tell them what to do.
You need to know that this is where this house shits. You need to know exactly where the bowels of your home are. It's interesting, Colton, because the bowels of your home are actually right there in your studio. It's actually just the one. You know, it's interesting because bowels normally mean like lower level, but you actually have like a flying buttress kind of deal happening here.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Ashley and Chris check the library and discover that there is a revealing door built into the bookshelf. I didn't know how else to say it. I didn't want to say secret door because that sounded dumb.
Secret tunnel.
Literally. I was like, all right, word. So it's like one of those things you pull a fucking book and it turns, it was a door the whole time.
Yeah, it's some Scooby-Doo. It's definitely some Scooby-Doo bullshit.
Wow.
I love it.
Stupid.
Imagine having money.
I will, if we ever make it through this podcast, I guarantee you I will have one of those in my home. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
they're a thing.
Is that only if you get through this podcast?
This one.
This one.
This is the one. This is it. This is the matchstick moment, boy. This is the one that's rocketing us to stardom.
Like,
someone get Supermassive on the line. Oh, wouldn't this be great if they picked us up and like the 3 of us just did the next mocap for like their next game?
Oh man.
They did come out with another one, and I played it, and I really liked it, and I think you guys would as well. But that's another story for another time. It would have to
be like, where would it be set though? Where would an Until Dawn with the 3 of us be set?
I feel like maybe we could all chew on that and reveal it at the end. Perhaps.
Okay, you can do that.
Because I have my idea. Maybe then once our minds are fully in the spooky vibe, maybe we'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
So the pair discover a very disturbing note drawn on a picture of Hannah and Beth. Something about like tearing their skin off or something. You know, it's all very Charles Manson. Before they can find Josh and to show him, the pair are separated when Chris is knocked out by the same psycho who ran into Sam. So this guy, and like at this point you're led to believe it's that dude that was stalking them outside, is really picking them off one by one. So yeah, the psycho, he's an interesting looking character. He's got like a very much like a, I don't know how to really describe the mask. It's like got this weird kind of like no lips look to it, where it's like a clown vibe,
but at the same time, like
a zombie at times, plus the Undertaker. It's very strange. Throughout this, meetings between someone, presumably Josh, are taking place between him and Dr. A.J. Hill, who first asks the player what they are most afraid of and asks them to choose from a list. So this is a very interesting mechanic because
I love this mechanic so much.
Because depending on what
So
you
much.
choose, more of that will appear in the game. So, like, gore is an example, guns are an example, women are an example, men are an example. All these things that you can be scared of, heights, drowning, all sorts of shit. And depending on where it goes in the list, they take the top 4 and they start to add more of it into the game. And Dr. A.J. Hill, played by the amazing Peter Stormare, he has a great line. Whichever ones you pick, he goes, "That sounds like a good time. Sounds like a good Friday night." It's just talking about like guns and death and clowns and shit.
I really love that mechanic, though. I think that mechanic's fucking great.
Yeah, it really tailors the game experience to whoever's playing it. And I know Colton probably had a good time with the next meeting that they have with Dr. Hill, because you also get to kind of choose who has the least amount of survivability based on how much you like them. So then he asks you to choose who he most likes and most dislikes out of the group of friends. So there's one person that you, whoever you like most gets their survivability rate increased. So it's harder to kill them, and certain decisions you can kind of still fucked up and not die. But whoever is chosen least is the least easy to save at the end of the game. Okay, so Emily and Matt go back to the cable car station only to discover that it is locked. Emily, upon Matt's suggestion, squeezes through the window and opens the locked door. The pair discover that the cable car station is trashed and covered in graffiti, very obviously in a different state when they arrived a mere hours ago. Matt makes note of the radio tower on the map inside the cable car station and takes a fire axe with him as he and Emily try to make their way there. Unfortunately, on their way, their path is blocked by a giant herd of, I said caribou. I don't know if that's exactly right.
I mean, it's a mountain. It's probably the same. You know what I mean?
It's like forest deer.
Big deer. Very big deer.
Elk, maybe? I don't know. Some sort of fucking quadruped, equine. So yeah, they're like getting stared down, like they basically are getting like West Side Storied by these bunch of fucking elk on a cliff, and it fades to black, and we kind of are left in suspense as to what happens to them. However, Mike, who I believe screams Jessica about 40 times in this one scene, has taken a hunting rifle and a lantern out into the cold. By the way, out into the cold in his beater. In the beater. Doesn't care about the cold. Just in a tank, a guinea tea.
That adrenaline, man.
All day.
Yeah, I kind of respect that, because that was his first thought. Wasn't, oh shit, I'm going to be cold. It was, okay, Jessica gone, must go do that. You know,
his first thought is Jessica's in a brawn panties. She can't survive out there.
Yeah.
Oh man. So takes a rifle and lantern out into the cold with him and pursues whatever took Jessica. This leads him back into the mines. Sorry, I have to do it every time. It's a sickness. The mines. Takes him into the mines where he and Jessica had to pass in order to get to the cabin in the first place. Look, I understand that these are some very oversexed 17-year-olds, but if you have to go through an abandoned mine with someone and engage in multiple, suggestions that the people that worked there are now dead, would you still be in the mood? I gotta be honest, I don't think so.
I don't know, man.
During that trip, Jessica falls, and Mike is like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And she says, "As far as I'm concerned, I still have." Oh my God, where is it? As far as I'm sure, I still have all 6 of my limbs. And I never knew what she was talking about until I finally added up the math that she's talking about her arms, legs, and tits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who are you people? Like, this feels like this was written in 2001.
No, the next time that I am injured and Angela goes, "Are you okay?" I'm going to be like, "I got all 6 of my limbs."
Oh,
Don't
God,
worry,
no.
babe, my titties are safe. I feel like at this point, your tits are like the least of your problems, Jessica.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Mike finds that whatever took Jessica is hiding in the abandoned Blackwood Pines Sanatorium on the
Oh, of
mountain.
fucking course it is.
Yeah, because imagine, properties just like, oh, what? Native American burial ground? What? Near a sanatorium? Perfect. Brick ground on it.
Yeah, I just can't imagine, like, Mr. Washington. Do we ever learn his fucking first name? I'm just going to call him Mr. Washington.
I'll give it a try. I'll give it a search as you say so.
I can't imagine just the idea of, like, oh, where should I build my luxurious ski lounge? This mountain, what's the mountain called again? Like Blackwood
Pines.
Blackwood Pines. Blackwood Mountain? That looks beautiful. What's around there? Oh, look at that. A Native American burial ground and an abandoned insane asylum. Perfect. That'll be good for my sleeping children.
I am so pleased to announce that this is Mr. Bob Washington.
Oh,
Hi,
there's your problem. His name is Bob.
My name is Bob America. How may I help you?
Bob America. Oh my God.
Jesus
oh my God.
fucking
Right.
Christ.
So, Bob Washington. There we go. Blackwood Mountain. All right. Let me go back to my notes section here. Chris wakes up to find Ashley gone and goes off in search of her. Chris makes his way over to a shack/barn near the cabin where he finds both Ashley and Josh strung up yet still alive. The pair wake up and begin to beg for Chris to save them. A voice comes over a speaker and tells Chris to choose which of his friends he would like to save. And obviously the choice is very difficult for Chris, as Josh is his best friend and Ashley is his love interest. Josh is ultimately chosen and a large circular saw cuts him in half. Chris releases a devastated Ashley, and the two of them stagger out into the snow together. So, yeah.
I think it's important to say this here. No matter who you pick, because you do get the choice, the saw will go kill Josh.
It will.
Yeah.
That's true. However, if you choose Ashley, she knows you chose her. And that's big.
Oh, yeah, that's big.
Because it's not like, it's also like, Chris literally will say it if you go and like pick Ashley. He'll be like, "I'm so sorry, Ashley, but Josh is my best friend." Like, so it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Bet. Love it.
Wow.
We love,
like
we love to see it. I obviously always chose to save Ashley, though. Best girl.
I mean, Ashley is a fucking great character, but like this scene really, I don't really get grossed out by games. You know what I mean? I really don't get grossed out by gore anymore, but for some reason, this scene was just really gross. Like they really slowed it down. You know what I mean? Like they made you look at every second of it, and it was just, ay.
Yeah. Yes, regardless of which option, yeah, okay. As Ashley and Chris are leaving, they run into Matt and Emily and in a panic tell them that Josh is dead. Emily will start to maneuver the group to get help and suggests to get the rest of the group together. Emily and Matt then proceed to go get help while Chris and Ashley will try to look for Sam at the lodge. So, yeah, that's, geez, oh boy. Oh, baby.
Oh boy, oh boy.
So we are at Chapter 5 now, which is Chapter 5 Dread. Each one of them has their own title, and now we are approaching 6 hours until dawn. Mike makes his way into the derelict sanatorium, exposing its massive interior, and learning of the Miracle Men, a group of miners who survived a mineshaft collapse and several days or weeks underground. Mike stalks the stranger into a large chapel where it seems he has taken up a position with his two domesticated wolves. So, Mike discovers a machete at some point here. He also notices that the stranger gives two of the wolves a bone, which is going to be important a bit later. Mike continues to explore and walks through You know, they have a little mechanic that lets you know that not sometimes doing nothing is the right thing. And, you know, obviously since we're leading a spoiler-free review, I'm not going to speak about it. But there is a way for you to really, really fuck yourself over on one of these particular things that you find here having to do with the machete. A wolf will scare Mike, chasing him up a flight of stairs. Mike manages to get away and acquires a gun and a miner's jacket. So now he looks cool, and he's a little warmer, I suppose. Mike discovers a locked door and moves a barrel full of flammable liquid to shoot it, and explodes. He doesn't explode, but he definitely, it was progressing through the sanatorium. Once they arrive at the cable car station, Matt finds the door is locked. Break down the door immediately. So I ran out of my from memory review, so now I'm reading off of the fandom wiki. So it might be a little bit. I might change a lot of stuff around.
I mean, if you're jumping back to Matt and Emily,
sure, let's do it.
Aren't they? They're going to the radio tower, which is all sorts of fucked.
Yes.
Ooh.
It is elk. Yeah. And the radio tower scene is probably my favorite in the game. Got to be real. 10-second warning. Show the votes of race. I'm like trying to see where I was and where I'm not. Chapter 6. All right, so now we're at psychosis. That is 5 hours until dawn. So Matt has the option of, so if Matt ignores the elf, he and Emily will walk calmly through the herd, and unchanged they will continue to the fire tower. Emily and Matt walk up to the fire tower and are stunned by the security lights. Emily switches on the power and can also find a flare gun, which she will either keep to herself, fire into the air, or give to Matt if he is with her. Emily will attempt to contact the park ranger via radio. Despite failing to be heard in the first few attempts, the park ranger finally reaches Emily and informs her that because there's a storm going on and they can't send help. And guys, I'll tell you, it hits real different every single time. He says, we won't be able to get a chopper out there. And she goes, how long? And she goes, not until dawn at the earliest. And I'm like,
yeah, I was like, I did the same thing. I was like, yeah, they said it. And then it immediately started going to hell. And I was just like, oh, I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, it's so crazy because like now I feel like obviously you thought you knew what the game was about. But with that one line, I feel like the whole dynamic of the game changes. It's a survival situation. It's like you need to see the sun again, 5 hours until dawn. Like, it's just so cool. I fucking love this game.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine, like, that really does kind of put it into perspective. This all happened in the span of, like, 5 hours. That's fucking crazy. That's so much shit packed into one night.
I think chapter 1 is, hold on. I don't remember how.
Technically, chapter 1 is like when Hannah and Beth are there. I mean, technically, it takes place over 2 days.
Chapter 2 is 9 hours. So 9 hours until dawn. Actually, no, chapter 1 starts with Sam getting off of the ledge. So hold on. Yeah, so 10 hours is the total time it takes for the events of this game to unfold.
Yeah, I think I would have fucking like lost my mind at that point. Like, holy shit.
You know what I like about this part in the game, which I think is like pretty cool?
Tell me.
Is when they get there and Emily's like on the radio and she's like, there's like a murderer, like, there's some crazy guy up here trying to kill us. And, they're like, oh, well, we can't really like do anything about that. That's like, we can't get anybody out there. But then immediately after that, like the whole thing that they thought was happening wasn't happening. So it's like, I'm kind of like, Imagine having to explain like all the kind of like supernatural-esque themes that come after that to a park ranger over the radio and being like, oh hey, there are these things that aren't human, and they'd be like, oh, bears, and you're like, no, it's not a bear, man.
I wish it was a bear.
Wait until dawn, it's not bears. You'd be like, all right, it's a bunch of kids pulling some fucking like pranks.
I don't know, man. I really this whole thing really makes me upset where like if they're listening to this shit happening and a bunch of kids call you on a radio like, oh my god, like there's some shit happening, we need to be out here, you need to be out here, we need help, something's happening. They're like, oh, it's just a bunch of kids playing a prank. No, like why would they do that? You know what? Like, what kind of fucking maniacs use an emergency response line for a prank? But like, come on! They shot up a flare. They're calling over the radio, like clearly trying to get a hold of someone. Oh, it's just a prank, guys. We'll just wait until morning. Send some fucking choppers.
No, I mean it's the storm is the reason that they can't get out there.
Oh my god, they got land vehicles.
Oh, that's true. That's fair. But, I think, so...
It's also, like, the cable cars were down and, like, stuff like that, too.
Yeah. It's all sorts of nonsense happening.
It's ridiculous.
It's pretty crazy.
Ridiculous.
So, the thing is that the attacker, or somebody tries to attempt to break through the hatch and enter the tower but fails. The attacker then cuts the support lines of the tower, causing it to tip over onto its side. Emily will dodge debris that comes flying at her, and then she falls out of the tower's windows and lands on the railing. The tower begins to slide into the mines, and Matt begins to get a grip on the support beam in the tower. Emily falls off the tower only to hold on to a ledge. Matt will hear her scream and attempt to reach for Emily to secure her safety. Doing this, Matt can either assure her she will be fine or confront her about her relationship with Mike, in parentheses, only if Ashley let Matt look through the telescope earlier in the game. She is hanging from a tower for her life. And he's like, all right, so what the fuck was that up with that earlier, huh? What's going on? We're going to talk about this now. Like, dude.
The literal worst fucking time to bring shit up.
Believable. Emily slips regardless of Matt's first choice. He's then presented with the same set of choices. So yeah, like you can either choose to save Emily or jump to safety. If he tries again, the tower fully collapses, sending Emily presumably to her death. She pulled the Frieza there, and Matt lands unconscious in the mines. He attempts to escape while walking with a limp, but someone hooks him and drags him through the mine. If he has the flare gun given to him by Emily, he can shoot at the person who flees upon seeing the light from the flare gun. If he fails to do so, or does not have the gun, Matt can die. Chris and Ashley have returned to the lodge in order to search for Sam. Chris and Ashley head into the basement where she thanks Chris for saving her. In the cinema room, Ashley tells Chris that they need to find Sam. Once Chris and Ashley are in the basement, Ashley can find a locked dollhouse. Soon afterwards, she sees what appears to be a spirit leading her to the dollhouse's key. So this is crazy. They're in the basement, and there's like some paranormal activity shit, full-on FBA, full-bodied apparition walking out down there. And obviously Chris has kind of established himself as the bullshit guy. Like he's the
non-believer, the critic.
None of this is real. This is all horseshit. And Ashley is bugging out because she keeps seeing the ghost and Chris doesn't. And she has, again, one of my favorite lines in the game where he's on his cell phone. I don't know why he's on his cell phone at this time.
Well, he's probably, I think he was like looking for a flashlight or some shit, or trying to call somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but the spirit walks past and Ashley's like, Chris, look, it's the ghost. Like, she's freaking out. And he's like, what? I didn't see it. She's like, because you were on your phone, you idiot. What are you tweeting? Hashtag there's a fucking ghost after us.
That's what I would be doing right
That was
there.
a good one. That was a really good line.
No fucking service.
Oh, God. So the spirit leads her to the dollhouse's key. Despite Chris's protests that spirits are not real, Ashley follows the spirit to the key and inserts it to the dollhouse. Inside, she finds that the psycho has recreated last year's prank by setting up figures in the same position as the group was when they played the prank on Hannah. The head of Hannah's doll will suddenly twist to the side, scaring Ashley and Chris. In the roof of the dollhouse, Ashley will find Hannah's diary. Oh, what a document Hannah's diary was.
Yes, it was.
As they travel to the basement, Ashley finds a pair of scissors, which you can use for weaponry, I believe. Soon after Ashley and Chris begin talking about the incident last year, Ashley confesses that all she wanted to do this year was forget about her involvement in the prank. Yeah. So Ashley's fucked up. If you choose the apologetic option, Ashley says that she couldn't feel worse for what they have done to Hannah. It was supposed to be a joke. A face will then suddenly appear on screen and scream.
Yeah.
That is in the plot fucking recap.
That's the plot.
Ashley begins to freak out and they leave the room. Deeper in the basement, Chris finds blood on the floor against a heavy door, which he believes to be Sam's.
Oh, before we continue, you brought up a really good thing about the face coming out and scaring you. What I really thoroughly enjoyed about this game is that they'll just add that shit in the background. You know, they'll just add some shit. There was a specific scene I have in mind. Remember when Mike was jumping down to help Jessica push the minecart?
Yes.
Do you remember the stranger was like right behind him?
Yes. Yes.
I had to pause. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
They'll just throw shit like that in the background and it's just
so good.
Oh my God. It just adds such a deep layer of fear to that game because it's not a jump scare. Not at all. It's one of those blink and you'll miss it. But if you happen to just catch it, it's like, it's so much worse than physically seeing it in front of you because it's just right there. It's always been there. You just caught it just a little bit, but now you don't know where it is. You know, it's just it gives me the
They do that. They do something like that at the beginning too. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, this could be later, but when Ashley's looking through the binoculars, there's like before you see Mike, you can like see something else. And it's like, huh? Like, if you don't see it, you know, you don't see it. But if you see it there, you're like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, there's like a face that like comes into the telescope screen for like a split second. And it's just like, oh, yeah.
Yep, gone. So crazy. Yeah, this game, it does rely pretty heavily on the jump scares, but the atmospheric horror is fantastic.
Yeah.
So they believe Sam gets caught by the psycho because they find a dummy with her clothes on it. Seconds later, the psycho strangles Chris unconscious, much to Ashley's shock and terror. If she has the scissors, she can stab him, which causes the psycho to tell her to live and learn, and punches her in the eye, knocking her out and leaving her with a black eye for the rest of the game. If not, he strangles her unconscious as well. Chris and Ashley both regain consciousness and then find themselves tied to chairs. Ashley will look around and tell Chris that they are going to die. Ashley admits her feelings for Chris and says that the time they spent together was wasted. Chris admit his feelings for Ashley as well, and they tell her that none of the time they spent together was wasted. I was really pulling for Chris and Ashley. Like, you know, like I really shipped them, like really hard. Like they were seemed to be the healthiest relationship present.
Yeah, they really did.
I mean, I don't know. Sam in the bathtub was my
Sam in the bathtub.
That's my ship. Like Sam in the bathtub.
I ship Sam and the squirrel from the first chapter. So soon so there are saws above them. I guess there's a lot of Saw theme going on here. So the saws will start to come down, and the psycho tells Chris that he either has time to shoot himself or Ashley with the gun in front of him, basically deciding whether or not he wants to take the coward's way out for himself and not have to deal with the pain of being bisected by a circular saw, or kind of put Ashley, out quickly and painlessly, I guess, I hope. And if Chris aims the gun at Ashley, she begins to plead for her life. If he points at himself and shoots, the screen goes black and Dr. Hill is shown talking to the psycho. So that's interesting. And that's the end of chapter 6.
Yeah, Dr. Hill was an interesting character. Very, very interesting character. Looked like Richard Nixon. I thought that was hilarious. Right? Like, am I wrong?
Peter Stormare. I mean, if you look him up, maybe he and Nixon show. It's the nose. I think it's the nose.
No, it's like the entire head.
Okay. Chapter will open up with Sam after her encounter with the psycho. If she was not captured, she will escape into the psycho's workshop. If she was captured, she will wake up tied to a spinning chair. Sam will then move the chair over to Mike, who will then free her from her bonds using either a machete or a lighter, depending on what they have. So Mike basically found a way that leads out of the sanatorium directly to the Washington Family Lodge basement.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. After getting changed into her regular clothes, Sam and Mike burst through the basement door to find the psycho approaching Chris Ashley, and Chris fires a few shots at the psycho. The psycho asks Chris if he's ever heard of blanks and takes off his mask, revealing himself to be Josh Washington all along.
What a fucking dick. Yeah. Not a big fan of Josh. Not a big fan of Josh at all. So, like, I mean, I understand the guy has trauma. The guy has he's got some demons. Yeah. But like,
there's having trauma and having deep-seated issues.
Yeah, there's
an interesting case.
I am a firm believer in mental health is not your mental illness is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So Josh, what are you doing, buddy? Oh my God, holy shit.
Yeah, so the psycho has been Josh the whole time.
And they missed an opportunity, though. They really did miss an opportunity for some dialogue. It would have really fit in just the absolute garbage dialogue writing in this game if he had just come out and said that he was just joshing them.
Oh, for God's sake. He does make that joke.
Does he?
He does make that joke.
When does he do that?
He can make that joke when he restarts the boiler with Sim in the beginning of
God damn it.
He does make that joke. So that's a big deal, and it's like, it's like kind of like we said earlier, it's kind of like the mid plot reveal. Like, it's like this game makes a lot of right turns, and a lot of those right turns come in these last 3 chapters, because we're going to talk about chapter 7 right now, but then we have 8, 9, and 10. But I mean, I remember seeing that the first time and being fucked up. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, it's rough.
Maybe it's me, but I feel like for me playing this game the first time, seeing the creepy guy and whatever, and I just sat there and I was like, this is Josh. It's Josh. It's this guy. And I get, Josh stormed off. We don't know where he is, but you switch to every other character.
Yeah.
Come on.
But I think that the Saw scene is kind of meant for us to be like, oh, Josh is fucking dead. I don't know. But I mean, it's not the hardest plot point to call. No. Yeah, it's definitely not. And
Sorry, finish.
No, go on. No.
No, I mean, what I like about it though is for me, I'm like, oh yeah, that was very obviously him. Then you have the shit that's happening outside of the cabin, and it's like, so how'd you pull that one off?
Yeah.
And even in this scene when, and then my cat dropped my controller. Thanks, Lilith, for that. But in this scene, which we're about to talk about, but when Mike starts going off and he's like, well, how'd you do this? Where's Jessica? And he's like, what are you talking about? That's when it really, I think this game really hit me, and I was like, oh fuck, we fucked, boys.
Yeah. You thought that everything was shaking down, but no. It's a cool 3 a.m. at this point, and it's chapter 7. Emily, having survived her fall by a rope that caught her ankle, swings over to a ladder, making the rope snap. She lands onto the ground with the rest of the tower beginning to crumble behind her. She finds herself in an abandoned mine shaft where she uses a piece of her shirt to make a torch while starting to explore the mines. In the mines, Emily hears multiple strange screeching noises. She will attempt to use an elevator only to find out that it is broken, climbing up a ladder in order to get the electricity working. As Emily gets up after a fall, she takes out her phone flashlight and sees several skulls on a stick. That's important enough for the recap, I guess.
Yep.
Disgusted, Emily continues down the path and breaks through a barrier. After she climbs up another ladder, her phone will run out of battery, and she will notice a flamethrower being used deeper in the mines. She will pick up the torch she used earlier and wander deeper. When exiting a cave, she will notice a rock slide. After a failed attempt to get up the rock slide, Emily can find multiple clues, especially one very big one. She is shocked to find Beth's severed head in the mines.
Oh yeah, that was rough.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
A lot of the twins' clue line, the like kind of the clue storyline that you get from finding their particular clues is wild.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the scene. Hannah's glasses, Hannah's locket, totems. No, this isn't the time where she finds the I guess the journal that Hannah kept. But basically, at this point, Emily and the player will know that Hannah survived the fall. So that's something that we're supposed to know at this point. She then uses the elevator. She gets caught by the stranger. After revealing himself as the psycho. What's that?
I love this guy. I love this flamethrower stranger. Love him.
After revealing himself as the psycho, Josh laughs as the other survivors watch in dismay. Josh will reveal his motives originate from what the group did to his sisters a year ago. Josh had faked his death and controlled the quote-unquote supernatural events that happened, using movie magic, basically. After Josh tells the group that they will all be internet sensations, Mike gets angered and will mention Jessica's death. Now, Jessica at this point is very difficult to save. So I managed an Until Dawn run where I saved everybody except Josh. So I know there is a fact that you can have Jessica survive till the end.
Yeah, however, in my route, Jessica survived.
Yeah. After Josh tells the group that there'll be internet sensation, Mike gets angered and mentions Jessica's death, thinking that Josh killed her. Josh denies, and then Mike punches him, causing him to fall unconscious. Later, Mike and Chris are dragging up a tied Josh to the shed. If Josh punched Ashley because she stabbed him with the scissors, Chris will then punch him in return. And when arriving at the shed, Mike will then tie Josh up in a chair. If Chris chose to save Ashley in the saw trap, Josh will tease Chris about her and antagonize him. If not, he will only be bitter towards Mike. Josh also is questioned about what happens to Jessica, and which leads to Mike pointing a gun at him. Chris can either choose to disarm Mike or hit Josh, causing him to be knocked unconscious again. If you choose this, however, Mike goes, Jesus, man, I wasn't actually going to shoot him because you just crack him across the jaw with a wooden baseball bat. And even Mike is like, geez, man, relax.
Dude, I was angry, but I wasn't I'm not trigger happy.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I would have cracked him across the head with a baseball bat. That would have been like, I would have been going for a home run, man. After that shit, if I just thought that he killed one of our friends just for a stupid prank, yeah, that would have been, he would have been over home plate, man. That would have been it.
Yeah. So regardless of what you do, Chris turns back to the lodge and leaves Mike to guard Josh in the shed. So that's chapter 8, boys. We're 3 more chapters until the end of this little video game. So, yeah, I think that the Josh reveal kind of changes the way the characters interact with one another, kind of the way that they are dealing with themselves as human beings, I guess.
Yeah.
The chapter opens up with the stranger catching up to Emily. Emily ends up with a bag of flares to light up her path, which she will use if she didn't throw away her torch in the previous chapter. Strange screeching and scratching noises begin to grow louder and louder as Emily squeezes through a crack at the end of the path. And the hand of a creature will break through and tries to swipe at Emily, and she will have to make over 2 jump gaps, quick time events, to get to the bridge. The player will then be prompted to turn left or right, but either choosing the right direction or being too slow to make a choice will prompt a jump scare by a creature. Emily will run left to the elevator anyway, and after Emily pulls out the lever, the elevator will go up. It stops abruptly. She may have to hold still for a few seconds before she runs away. Oh, right. We can talk about the hold still mechanic. That shit is so cool. Yeah, so there are certain sections where you have to hold the controller still in order to not be discovered or to not make a noise, like as if you were hiding from something in a real life survival situation. And like half the time I just cheat and just put the controller down, obviously. But really, I think for your first term, you should really try it out, you know, like actually try holding the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cheap to just put it on the table, but it's very hard to actually hold it still because it is super sensitive.
It's also because, like, you're scared.
Yeah.
So, like, you're not going to hold it still. I think my friend had this game, and he was like, watch, I'm going to put it on the table, but his table legs were tilted. So the controller just started sliding, and I was just looking at him, and I was like, dude, you're about to die.
No.
So that's definitely... I mean, I never would put the controller down. I would still hold it. But, like, I would, like, do the palm flat, put controller on palm trick.
Oh, that's good. That's great. I like that. Yeah, so she kind of, like, runs up this conveyor belt and then hops on a zip line to escape from the mines, which I think is dope as fuck. She just fucking gets on there and just zips away, literally. Emily's scream can be heard from outside, alerting Mike regardless to if Emily survives her encounter with the creature or not. The player then takes control of Chris, as he asks about Emily and Matt's well-being. Later, Mike will run into the lodge and can reassure Emily or ask where she is if Emily died in the mines. Soon after, someone can be heard banging on the door, and Mike and Chris investigated cautiously. Chris can either let Mike have the gun or demand to have the gun himself. Mike can either hand it over or refuse if Chris hit Joss with the baseball bat. So, like, all of these are included to show you just how important certain decisions are and how making them can really change the whole game experience and leave you without items that can help you later on. He will then... The stranger pushes through the door and disarms whoever has the gun, whether it is Mike or Josh. Or Chris. So the stranger also then kind of shows his face for the first time. His face is never really, his name is never really revealed. However, in the first scene when you're Sam and you're going to or you're Chris and you're going down to the shooting range near the cable car station, there is a wanted poster for somebody and it has a name, and I think it's the stranger, but that's just my own little theory. He will then the group is in danger, and obviously Mike says, "Oh no, whatever, we got him in the shed, he's fine. I know what you're talking about." And he goes, "Not about them. From the Wendigos."
Ah, there it is.
There it is, boys. There it is.
We got the back plot.
So it's finally stated of what this because like for a while you knew whatever the hell, there was definitely not just Josh going on. So I figured now is probably a good time to stop and explain what a Wendigo is, probably as respectfully as I possibly can. So the Wendigo, or there's obviously a lot of different ways that it can be said, and that's obviously the, there's Wendigo, Wendigo, Wentico. There's plenty of ways to pronounce it because it shows up in many native languages. However, the Wendigo is a mythological or evil spirit from the folklore of the First Nation Algonquin tribe, based in northern forests of Nova Scotia in Canada, the Great Lakes region of Canada, and Wisconsin, U.S. The Wendigo is depicted as a monstrous, malevolent spirit with some characteristics of a werewolf, normally appearing as some sort of emaciated, weird-looking. Frequently they're drawn or depicted with having like these like antlers or horns. Obviously the Until Dawn Wendigos don't have that. The Wendigo is said to invoke acts of murder, insatiable greed, cannibalism. So that's the idea behind this spirit, that if you eat the flesh of another human being, you become a Wendigo.
Yeah, it's like the worst qualities in humanity, like super amplified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that it's pretty cool. There is a case of somebody killing their family and eating them or something, and claiming it wasn't me, it was a Wendigo. So these things are pretty popular. They're in a lot of different art and novels, movies, shows. But they apparently a long time ago, they had this short story in 1910 called The Wendigo, and that's kind of one of the first portrayals in the mainstream horror fiction outside of the native kind of culture. So the Native American symbolism is pretty common in this game as well.
Yeah, did we go over the totems yet?
I was about to ask if we could talk about the totems.
Please, let's do it.
I think that was really cool. So while you're playing, I know in the beginning we talked about you got to look for the things that sparkle and you got to pick those up. And some of them can be totems, and based on what color they are what you can like you get little glimpses of like the future or things that like you could have picked up that could be helpful. I don't remember what each color means. I just remember that black means death, and you can kind of see how one of the characters can die, so you can try to avoid it.
I believe it was like fortune. It was
white is fortune.
Yep. Loss was gray, I think.
I believe loss is either. I think loss is brown.
I know there's like red is danger.
Red is danger. White is fortune. I think. Yellow is guidance. Yeah. I'll check that in a second. But the totems.
Guidance, death, loss, fortune, and danger.
Yeah, boy. Absolutely. Those totems, they give you the little things, and is like something to avoid or something to do, or it can show you how a character can die. It's very fun.
It gives you basically like one of the routes that you can take. Like it gives you a tiny little shard of one of the routes that you can take. And that is a super cool mechanic in a game where quite literally every decision you make matters very, very heavily. So,
after remembering that Josh is in the shed, Mike notifies the group that is the case, and he ran out and left Josh when he heard screaming. Chris decides to go back for him with the accompaniment of the stranger. Everyone proceeds to take shelter in the basement, and Ash will follow Chris and the stranger to close the door behind them. If Chris did not shoot at her, she will kiss him and tell him to return safely. If Chris did try to shoot at her, she will not say a word to him.
Ooh.
While walking to the shed, the stranger tells Chris vital information about how to handle the Wendigos. They do not like fire. Shotguns and traditional weapons will only slow them down and not kill them. They only hunt at night, and they cannot see you if you do not move.
So they're like T-Rexes in that regard, I think.
But very, very skinny, human-looking T-Rexes.
Yeah, imagine if like a skeleton wrapped in electrical tape with like shovel claws was a T-Rex. You know what I mean? That's not a good analogy. Yeah. It's not.
No, it's a great one. I don't know what you're
very
talking
late at night, and I don't know if that visual came across correctly. But imagine if Freddy Krueger. Imagine if Freddy
Never say that to
Krueger.
me again.
Imagine if Freddy Krueger was a skeleton wrapped in shrink wrap. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like,
I hate it. Thank you, but I hate it.
But now, if we could continue.
They arrive at the shed only to see a broken stool with no Josh in sight. Chris insists to continue finding Josh, but the stranger advises to return.
wait. There was a good line there too. Where Chris go, they're like, "Oh my God, he's not there." The stranger goes, "Yep, he's dead."
Honestly, valid. I was on the same thing, though.
All right. Well, we're just gonna get that. That's fine. He's dead. They got him.
Absolutely.
So good.
Chris insists to continue finding Josh, but the stranger advises to return back to the lodge and to safety due to the Wendigo being nearby. When heading back, the stranger will stop and tell Chris not to move. No matter if you pass the don't move segment or not, a Wendigo will spring out and swiftly decapitate the stranger with his long claws.
Yeah.
Horrified, Chris will then run back to the lodge, turning back every few seconds to shoot the Wendigo that is pursuing him. If he fails to be quick enough any of these times, he will be decapitated.
Ooh.
If he manages to successfully pass each QuickTime event, he will reach the lodge entrance, and depending on whether or not he chose to shoot Ashley or himself or no one at all, he will be left back inside, or she will leave him locked out as the Wendigo impales him through the neck with his fingers and tears off his head as she watches.
Oh my God.
Ashley really took that very personally, like extremely personally.
I mean, I can't say I
to be
wouldn't
fair,
either.
Sure.
I would be taking that personally.
Sure. I'm not saying it wasn't valid. I'm just saying that she's like, no.
Also, these kids, though, really like taking the worst possible opportunities to deal with their feelings.
Yeah.
Like Matt really just being like, "Oh, Emily, you're hanging off the radio tower? Man, what happened with Mike?
I mean,
Like, oh, you tried to shoot me? And I know that there were blanks or whatever, but like, that kind of sucks. Get fucked, man.
No, I love that, like, the saws were coming down on them both, and Ashley was just like, so what are we? Like,
yeah, dude, it was so
Like, are we
good.
boyfriend and girlfriend or not?
Like, I feel like, you know what it was, though? They had so many unresolved, like, minor plot lines that they were already this far into the game. They're like, oh, fuck, we gotta resolve this.
oh no, the interpersonal drama.
Oh, we gotta resolve this shit somehow.
People with emotions.
Oh, my God. So fucking funny, man. Now, imagine, like, Chris and Ashley having kids when they get older. Like, so, Dad, how did you and Mom meet? Well,
I didn't shoot her.
Well, you see, we got together when I, tried to, to save us. I killed our friend and then, said I would kill myself instead of her.
Turns out it was all a prank. It's a long story.
You had to be there.
It was a bad
Internet
one.
famous. It's fine.
oh, I think this is
man.
one of those things where you didn't have to be there. You know, like, I think that was one of those things where we could have not been there and everything would have been so
I
much
gotta be there
better.
to understand.
Right. So, Mike, Ashley, Chris, if survived, enter the basement, Sam asks where the stranger is, and Chris, if he died, in parentheses, are. Chris tells her about the stranger's death, whatever. In the basement, Mike decides to try to look for another exit in case a Wendigo breaks in, and Sam tries to convince him that they should all stay in the basement until dawn.
There it is. Yeah.
Soon, Mike deduces that Josh probably has the key to the cable car. If Emily is alive, she will I love that. If Emily is alive, she will mention that the Wendigo probably took him down into the mines because she heard the Wendigos down there. If Emily finds the map and the stranger's belongings, and then Mike starts to share information about what he learned in the sanatorium, which is like, if you find certain clues, he can talk about them. While Emily is looking at the map, Ashley will then discover that Emily has been bitten by one of the Wendigos.
Yeah.
Everyone except for Sam, because Sam is too good. Sam is best girl. Will soon interrogate her and try to force her to leave, which Emily refuses to do.
Sam is the smartest one in the room at every point in this game. Like,
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
Mike, After Emily refuses to leave, Mike grabs his gun and backs Emily up against the wall with it. He is given the option to either shoot her or keep her alive and let her stay. Regardless, Mike will leave to search for Josh outside. So you can just cap your ex-girlfriend right in the face because you think she's a Wendigo.
Yeah, so fun fact about that is my PS4 controller was a little sensitive.
Oh no.
So I tried to let it I tried to let the timer run out, but right as it was about to run out, I must have breezed the trigger and I shot Emily.
But I think God. To be fair, I don't like Emily, so I let her die very early.
I didn't like Emily either. I was like, you know what? I'm too far into restart. I'm too far into. I gotta finish this before podcast recording, so I'm just gonna go.
It's fucking chapter 8. Oh my god. It just feels very Pulp Fiction. You're like, what'd you fucking do? It's like, oh man, I just shot Emily in the face.
Yeah, whoopsie.
Right after that, I think it's either way, you find this out right after, but if you shoot her immediately after, Sam is like, oh, hey, if you get bit, you don't get turned.
Yeah, it says it right here.
I couldn't have waited 20 seconds for her to read the fucking book.
Oh, this discovery
was amazing.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, no, I'm just saying it was amazing. Rayne was talking about the fucking book. They literally could not have fucking waited, a second and a half?
Yeah. Ashley reads the Stranger's Journal and discovers new information about the Wendigos and their history. These discoveries include the realization that a Wendigo's bite is in fact not infectious. So there is something that I really love, and I believe I was also talking to you about this, Colton. Ashley has a choice when Mike has the gun on her where she can kind of egg him on and was just like, yeah, shoot her, or not. And just be like, dude, please don't shoot her. And if she chooses to, if Ashley chooses to encourage Mike to shoot her, and Mike doesn't shoot her, there is just a great scene where she's just like, oh, I didn't know, I couldn't have known. I'm really sorry. And it's just I hope you can, I don't know what it is, but it's I hope you can forgive me. And she goes, forgive the back of my hand, bitch. And she just smacks her across the face.
It's love so that.
Oh, man.
They have little nuggets of dialogue gold in this game.
Only little bits.
Only little bit.
We're really panning for it here, but they're there. The nuggets are there.
Okay, Chapter 9. Chapter 9, also known as Karma or Despair, depending on which ones you got, and takes place roughly 2 hours until dawn. The player takes control of Mike as he walks through the sanatorium. Ashley, as she and Sam, whoever is alive between Chris and Emily, make their way to the sanatorium as well. Jess also makes her first physical appearance since Chapter 4, if she is still alive at that point. Love that. Locking the door behind him, Mike walks down a messy hallway into an open area that leads upstairs. Up the stairs in the room, he drops down into a hole, picking up a torch and a shotgun. On the opposite side of the room, Mike can find a makeshift graveyard and a danger totem. After shooting the lock off of the middle door, Mike will step through and reunite with the wolf from an earlier chapter. If Mike gave him the bone, the wolf will protect Mike and guide him through the sanatorium. However, if you kicked the dog earlier, the wolf will only bark and run away.
If you kicked the dog, we need to have a talk.
Yeah, if you kick the dog, we're not friends. We never will be. And I don't know why you would do that.
Yeah, no accidental breezing of a controller trigger on that?
Nope, because that's the only time in my entire playthrough where I made sure that sensitive trigger was not happening. That was not a thing that was happening. And
all of Colton's hand just only on the right side of the controller. I'm not fucking.
I had surgical precision for that one. That was happening. I was petting that fucking wolf. That was it. That's one of the only things I want out of life. So I needed to have that in the game.
Right. So Mike basically gets chased by a Wendigo. There's a lot of shooting at the right time in this scene.
It's very time crisis, this scene.
Yeah. If Mike still has his machete, he can use it. Running into the next room, he has a keep still moment to catch a bottle rolling off of the desk so that it doesn't make any noise, Jurassic Park style. Mike will then escape. Scene is comprised mostly of quick time events. We're going to keep moving. Basically, the wolf can save your life. If the door is barricaded, the wolf will be safe, but he will be killed if the Wendigo gets in and the door is not barricaded. Mike arrives at the door where two Wendigos continue to pursue him. So that he finds like cells, like cages full of Wendigos. And the main theory for me is that these miracle men, these dudes that were in the mine shaft for weeks, and they came out working like perfectly healthy and like robust. It's because they ate their fucking friends, and now they're Wendigos.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
Yeah, and they went insane as a result, and that's why they're in the sanatorium. Mike can either continue shooting at the Wendigos or shoot the barrels instead and blow up the sanatorium. So Mike there is a possibility that you can blow yourself up in doing this, obviously, but if Mike does not shoot the barrels, a Wendigo leaps at him and the screen will go black, implying his death. At the very end of the scene, if alive, a very injured Jessica will wake up at the bottom of the elevator shaft. She will pick up a miner's coat and boots, and if needed, turn in fear at a screech nearby. So yeah, this is crazy because Jess, I don't really know what the conditions are on keeping her alive, but like since chapter 4, this is 5 chapters where you think Jess is dead, and Mike thinks Jess is dead as well.
I think when she's getting pulled, there are certain things you can hit, like buttons that save her or kill, or she ends up dead when she falls.
Interesting. Very interesting. Sam and Ashley and also Emily and Chris walk through the tunnels of the sanatorium in efforts to get to Mike in time. If Chris is alive, he will stop and continue on with the group if Ashley refuses to leave him behind. Ashley points out a manhole that leads to the sanatorium. Ashley will be the last one down. This one gets very specific. If she goes through the sewers, she will hear someone who she believes to be Jessica calling out for help. If you choose to investigate the voice, you will fucking die.
Yeah.
That was...
I need it to be known. I need this to be on the record that happened to me, and I restarted the fucking game.
Yeah,
I love Ashley. I was not letting her die. I was like, absolutely not.
I was like, holy shit, that scene was ridiculous. But like in my playthrough, I knew that was trouble because I know that one of the big things about Wendigo lore is that they can mimic voices. They can mimic voices of people that they've heard, people that are now deceased. They can use those voices to deceive people into luring them. And I was like, there is no fucking way that is actually Jessica calling out. That's a fucking Wendigo, and if she opens that trap door, she's going to die. So in my playthrough, I love how slowly they walk, because you know how they're just walking around, and all of a sudden you see that trap door just pounding away, and it's just like, okay, you just sit there for a second. And then all of a sudden, you just it stops, and then you walk away, and it just starts pounding again. Like, I'm just imagining the Wendigo under there, like, come on! Come on, do it!
I laid this convenient trap.
Oh, come on, man! Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, man. Yeah, so Chris can also die in the same fashion. You can also hear Jess's voice and then also get fucking decapitated. So that's fun. Chapter 9, 5:35 a.m. Sam, Emily, Ashley, and Chris walk up to a dead end. Sam will tell Ashley to return, and it basically tells everybody to return to the lodge. After disbanding with the others, Sam begins to climb up the rock wall in front of her. Sam will have to turn left where another collapse is about to occur. Complete the QuickTime event so Sam can have a tight grip on the railing. Yeah, this is now like the part of the game where it's like basically like if you did this, if you did that, if you didn't do this, if you did that. So there's precious little plot, but the guys are the gang is in the fucking sewers as we go into chapter 10. Chapter 10 is definitely a lot. Repentance or resolution. 1 hour until dawn.
Oh baby.
It opens with another hallucination of Dr. Hill, and eventually Josh is left alone on the cavern floor. The voices of his two sisters begin to sing Frere Jacques. Josh begins to scream and panic. Eventually more voices, Dr. Hill, the psycho, Chris, Mike, and Ashley begin to fill his head. He begins to calm himself down, and for the first time in the game becomes playable. The most you can do in this section is move around the constructed area and let the scenes play out in front of you. Josh will begin to have harsh and vivid hallucinations about his decaying sisters as their dead mouths blame him for leaving them to die. There is one quick time you have to hit that will be punching a pig's head, symbolizing the pigs that Josh had to kill in order to commit his prank. At the end of the section, Josh sees a Wendigo come down and screech in his face.
Oh
Crazy.
My God. This
Josh
fucking
is
scene,
not okay.
No, he's not got it all sorted out upstairs, and he needs some help, man.
Yeah, a mine shaft really it'll do it to you.
Yeah.
6 o'clock in the morning, exactly. After opening with Josh's scene, it'll switch to 10 minutes before with Sam and Mike exploring the mines. They must drop into ice-cold water and wade into the other side. This is it. If Sam wades in the direction of the water wheel on the left and picks up Hannah's journal, she will learn the truth about what happened to the twins. So there is a guidance totem that shows you the water wheel, and if you go by the water wheel, you'll find Hannah's journal. And holy shit, is that one a ride. It's not like the journal you find earlier in the game where she's like, oh my God, Mike. It's like, hey, I survived this fall. I'm really cold, really tired, and now I'm having thoughts about eating my dead sister. And then it just from there, it just Cicero from Skyrim's into her losing her fucking mind.
Yeah, there was one, like the second to last page was like the last intelligible page, like the last page you can make out any kind of words. And it was like, I feel like the hunger is gone and I'm getting stronger. Like, oh my God.
Good.
And then the last page was just scribbles and blood. And I was like, oh, no.
Good team.
Once making it to the other side, Sam will open a door where the head of the stranger and anyone else that died earlier in the game will roll over the ground. Mike will be shocked upon seeing Jessica's head if it is present. While walking through the room, Sam and Mike will discover the stranger's hanging body as well as the bodies of any deceased protagonists. If you shot Emily, her body will not appear even though she is deceased. Hilarious.
Good.
Afterwards, Mike and Sam find an unsettled Josh having a mental breakdown. Mike will snap Josh back into reality, and if Sam found Hannah's journal, she will tell Josh the truth about what she discovered. The pair take the cable car key from Josh, and Sam splits from Mike and Josh to climb out of the mines and tell the others that they will be okay. Yeah, man. So finding Hannah's journal is required to save Josh. If you don't get that journal, there is no way Josh can survive the game.
Oh,
so
really?
I think that's pretty crazy.
Huh. Interesting.
All right. We're coming to the end here. 6:14. After Sam splits off from the group, the player regains control of Josh as he follows Mike back to the way they came. Josh will come across the bodies for the first time, horrified. If more characters than just the stranger die, Josh will remorsefully comment about how he didn't intend for this and did not want them to die. So now it's kind of like Josh's whole thing has kind of been flipped on its head. Josh was so mad that his sisters died because of quote unquote just a prank. But like now that if he sees that his friends are dead due to his own sort of quest for revenge, he could be like, oh, I didn't mean for this. This was just supposed to be a prank.
Yeah, well, that sucks. Maybe don't do that. Like, I'm sorry. I have very little sympathy for him at this point. You know what I mean?
It's hard to feel for my guy, Josh. It's difficult. It's not impossible, but it's difficult.
Yeah, it's too difficult for me. Like,
I don't know. Towards the end, I started to feel bad.
Nah.
But, like, definitely.
He brought this.
Not at the beginning. Like, I was just like, yeah, fuck this guy. But as you like go forward, I'm just kind of like, oh,
like, I understand.
You have psychosis. I understand.
I understand that, you know, he's got a lot of issues that he had to deal with, and he has a lot of shit that he has to work through. But fucking good God, man, you know, like, take care of it, you know, like, at least try, you know.
Sure.
He was trying.
He was trying so hard.
Oh, God.
So, Josh will follow Mike down into the freezing cold water, and after waiting about halfway through, Mike is pulled under. Josh is then confronted by a Wendigo bearing a very familiar butterfly tattoo, therefore confirming that the Wendigo is in fact his sister Hannah. And Josh's fate is determined on whether or not the player has found had found the journal earlier. Mike is revealed to be okay, hiding a few feet away as Hannah is seen dragging Josh away. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fucked. It was real fucked. And this wasn't the last time we see the Hannah Wendigo, right?
Not yet.
Yeah.
If Matt and Jessica are both alive, Matt jumps down from a metal fence, reaching a table with a lantern and lighter. As he lights it up, Jessica accidentally attacks him with a shovel, which he either dodges or gets hit. Either way, Matt inquires about Jessica's safety and then has an option to warn her about the psycho or the monster, only if he had an encounter with it himself. So Matt, my man Matt, is still kind of behind the scenes, kind of behind the game. He's like, hey, the psycho is still around.
Yeah.
Like, if you choose that, she's like, I don't give a fuck about that. There's monsters here.
Yeah.
Like, I was just dragged through the fucking woods, slammed into a fucking mine. I am naked. You want to talk to me about a fucking psychopath?
Matt, I've been in a bra and panties for the last 3.5 hours.
It is minus 20. Oh my God.
After the conversation, Matt and Jessica will continue deep into the mines to find an escape. Matt may also question whatever. Jessica will inform him that she fell through the roof. The fall from the fire tower is talked about. They proceed onwards, encountering no resistance as they travel through the mines until they hear a Wendigo nearby, forcing Matt to make a choice of either hiding behind a wooden wall or running ahead. If he chooses to run ahead, the Wendigo catches up to Jessica and rips off her jaw while Matt continues to run. If Matt chooses to hide, the pair will hide and avoid the Wendigo, continuing to move on. The duo reach an opening covered by a couple of wooden boards. However, the Wendigo will see them and will be put in a position for another choice. He can either abandon Jessica or keep running if she is already dead, or hide together or break through if Jessica is gone. This is a lot of just like fucking like decision talk. This isn't like a story anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Okay. 6:36. Sam climbs up to the top of a rock wall and makes her way back to the lodge. While heading back, she hears the screech of a Wendigo and begins to run in fear. As she makes it to the back door of the lodge and attempts to knock on it to alert anyone to help her in, she is shocked as Mike shows up behind her, revealing himself to be alive. After unlocking the door, Sam asks Mike what happened to Josh. Regardless of his status, he'll affirm that Hannah got him. Sam goes to turn on the lights, only for Mike to turn them back off, claiming that it is a bad idea to keep them on as it will attract the creature. Sam and Mike walk towards the basement until they hear Chris, Ashley, and Emily yelling and running away from the Wendigos if alive. Emily will also push past Ashley if the Wendigo bite confrontation never happened. This changes the order that they can escape from the lodge. Very fun. Sam and Mike see a Wendigo chasing after the group. Mike runs upstairs with the others, and Sam will be given a choice to either lock the door or run with them. If she chooses to lock the door, the Wendigo will bang on it as she runs upstairs, indicating that it will break down the door. Sure enough, it will follow the group regardless of Sam's choice. Sam, Mike, and the others run upstairs and attempt to leave the lodge until they see Hannah hanging on a chandelier. Mike tells Sam to stay still, and you are given the most stressful don't move segment of the entire game.
Oh my god, this
by
fucking
far.
part.
Whew. So yeah, there's like 3 or 4 of them in a row. If she moves, Hannah will see her, but Mike will save Sam and Hannah will throw Mike across the room. Regardless, Hannah begins fighting with other Wendigos. As she's fighting them, she overpowers one of them and throws it towards the furnace, releasing gas into the lodge. Mike then notices this and walks towards an exposed light bulb while formulating a plan to incinerate the Wendigos with Sam by directing her attention towards the light switch. Hannah decapitates one of the Wendigos. Sam steps on a loose crack on the wooden floor, causing it to creak, and Hannah notices starting another don't move segment. If Sam moves, the Wendigo will impale her and kill her. If Sam stays still, Mike will break the light bulb, which will attract Hannah's attention, and only Chris will leave the lodge. If Mike is uninjured, Sam can then choose to save Mike, enacting the plan early by running to the switch and killing everyone, or do nothing. If she was injured, no choice will be given, and the do nothing option will always play out. Ashley, Emily, replace Chris if she is dead. So you have the 3 choices, which are save Mike, run to switch, or do nothing. So this is the last big decision of the game. So I'll give you the choices as they break down. If you chose to save Mike, Sam will yell, attracting Hannah's attention and starting another don't move segment. If she moves, Hannah will be killed. Hannah will kill her. Emily or Ashley will escape the lodge. If she is killed, Emily or Ashley escapes. Jeez. But Mike is now safe and will not be injured. If he was already injured, he will again blow up the lodge himself and the Wendigos with the lighter. If Sam failed the first don't move segment, let's see what happens. A lot of BS. Run to switch, the same thing happens as if Sam chose to save Mike. The same don't move segment that was skipped with Mike will start, and if Sam moves, Hannah will kill her. If she is killed, the same thing happens, and Ashley and Emily escape the lodge, and Mike, who is now always injured, blows up the lodge. Yeah, I mean, this is really kind of the way the game shakes down. It kind of leads to this. I'm not going to bore everybody by reading this. But this is kind of the last one out hit the lights kind of scenario, that they're going to use the light from the bulb because the incandescent bulb is like pretty much a controlled explosion, and the gas in order to blow up the lodge, because fire is really the Wendigo's weakness.
Yeah, it's like their only weakness. And not only that, but it's really symbolic where they're like, because Hannah is in there, and Hannah's fighting off the other Wendigos. Like, Hannah's kind of fighting off this curse as well, because she sees, obviously, her friends, and it's Hannah. So, the way I took this scene is she's fighting off the curse, like, as long as she can, and kind of keeping them alive, knowing that she's about to kill all of them. So, she doesn't want to be this thing. So she's just fighting off the Wendigos until they can, find a way to blow up the lodge. Because like right at the end, one of the Wendigos lunges, I think, at Mike, right?
Yeah.
And Hannah knocks it out of the air. Sure. So like right before the lodge blows up.
It is so crazy. Like,
yeah.
It's just, there's so many things, there's so many nuances and ways for this to go.
Do Wendigos know of, you know what I mean? Like, would they know that it's another Wendigo, or would they just go, oh, fuck movement,
I think, I don't know. Is there a sort of, I would imagine that there's some sort of like clickery mind fog going on if you're lusting for human flesh, there's probably some fraying of the wires.
Yeah, I would assume, but like I just guess I don't know, because you can very clearly, if I were to like look at a motion sensor and look at a person walking by versus looking at a fucking otherworldly eldritch nightmare walking by, I feel like I'd be able to tell the fucking difference. Like if I were to just
human, you're not like a fucking creature that is losing its fucking mind.
I suppose, but I feel like, there has to be some semblance of cognition there, You know what I mean? There has to be something, because it recognizes that people are its food source. You know what I mean? It doesn't eat other Wendigos. It doesn't really eat other animals. It just kind of attacked that elk to bait Mike and Jessica. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very smart. It's a very adept hunter.
It's a very smart creature, but I just don't think it's very smart, but it doesn't have any humanity. Does that make any sense?
If you kill the other Wendigos, you get all the food.
Yeah, pretty much. So I think that's I don't think that's what was this. I think it was Hannah fighting off the Wendigo tendencies and, you know, just using what little remnants of her mind she had left to save her friends. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm rereading the credits the credits that happened
the transcript.
Yeah, like the interview things that can happen. As the credits start rolling, and man, it is crazy. But I think so. The what I think is probably important is that if Josh's little endings, because he has pretty much two of them. If any other protagonist survives until dawn, Josh is seen eating the decapitated head of the stranger along with his body and the bodies of the other characters that might have died throughout the game. A rescue party searching through the mine finds him, and they radio in to say that they have a visual on a survivor. Josh turns to hear the voices who scream as the screen cuts to black as Josh has started to become a Wendigo.
Oh, man.
Yeah. If Josh is the sole survivor, the hanging bodies of Matt, the stranger, Jessica, Chris, and Ashley will not be seen, but Josh will be seen cannibalizing the corpse of the stranger and look to the camera before the screen cuts to black. So, yeah, basically, if Josh, it's very, if Josh survives, he doesn't really survive in
human
a
form.
way. In human form, he becomes Wendigo Josh. And I remember back when I was boys, I was on Tumblr when this little game came out, and I am pleased to say that I had a lot of fun in the Until Dawn fandom. They were very, very fun. The fic was great. I really think it was cool. And Wendigo Josh, there is a lot of adorable art of Wendigo Josh, if you could believe
Yeah, there really is.
I don't know.
There's a lot of art of Wendigo Josh, like healing and like being friends with Chris, and it makes me really happy.
Yeah, climbing class, that's the shit, baby. Let's go.
Oh, man.
I'm here for it.
Maybe because I'm new to the fandom, something about that rubs me the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Something about that just eats your sister. Oh yeah, the fan art. Yeah, pretty good.
Fan art.
Oh yeah. So that's Until Dawn.
Until Dawn, yeah. I mean, I feel like I've been talking forever, so why don't I get your guys' takes on these?
Oh, I want to really quick talk about the other characters' endings really fast.
Sure.
So whoever survives, they get, the helicopters show up and, oh my God, it's dawn. The storm's gone or whatever the fuck. And they're in a police station being interviewed, being like, what do you mean your friend's gone? Your friends are dead. And I think I don't remember the exact line, but Emily just turns around at one point and is like, oh, Jessica, she's a fucking bitch. And I'm like,
yeah.
And poor Jessica, the only line she gets is because she's all beaten up and her face looks terrible. She's just like, where's Mike? And I'm like, man,
yeah.
Oh my, you get actual characters explaining what happened, but then you just get oh, well, Jessica's a bitch. If she's dead, fucking she deserved it. And I'm like, all right, Emily.
Yeah,
right.
That's why I wasn't too fucked up about it. That's why I didn't reset my game after accidentally shooting Emily. I was just like, yeah, all right. You know what? The game's quieter now. Oh my God. I hated her character, man.
Yeah, and they only kind of doubled down in the dumbest way by then following it up with Until Dawn Rush of Blood, which is a VR horror game, basically. So I think that this one is probably the one to talk about. this one is the one to really experience. And I agree with Rayne. I think that there are so many, it's the characters are so idiosyncratic. There's so many idiosyncrasies with the characters and how they interact with one another. I don't know, man. I just really like geeking out about this little game.
I mean, it was really good.
Yeah, this game's great. I loved this game. I've replayed it multiple times. There's a lot of different things, especially because, like, this stuff with, like, Dr. Hill and, like, picking the things that you're afraid of and seeing how it, like, slightly alters the game. And then you have, like, oh, well, every time you go back to his office, one of the things that you picked is just on his desk or hanging in the window.
Yeah,
and,
that
like,
was
things
cool.
like that. So I think it's really cool to see all of that stuff play out.
I remember the first time that happened.
What?
I said, I remember the first time that happened. I was like, oh, it's one of those.
Oh, you see, because I wanted to get through the game, I just picked things I wasn't afraid of. But I'm not afraid of a lot of things. So, like, I was, like, going through it and I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I guess gore is creepy.
They definitely was afraid of clowns.
I was like, all right, cool, whatever. But I really like that, the thing is like, oh, we spent half the game thinking Jessica's fucking dead. And then she's like, hey, I'm here. I don't know where I am or what's happening. And I'm naked. But, we're trucking. Or Matt. I kind of forgot. I genuinely forgot when Matt came back. Like, I was like, he's dead? Did he die?
Yeah. No, he's gone from chapter 6 to chapter 10.
Yeah. Like, they really just are like, yeah, well, there's no finding him.
Yeah. Jess disappears in chapter 4 and doesn't reappear till chapter 9.
Yeah.
And Matt disappears in 6 and comes back in 10.
I mean, can I just, while we're on this topic, can I just give a quick commentary as to the reactions to deaths in this game? Like, the first one that I saw thought of deaths, not actual deaths. Remember when we were talking about how Emily was hanging off the watchtower and, like, Matt had the option to save himself? Well, I thought that there was going to be another option where you could jump to the ledge and then grab Emily once you had more stable ground under you. So that's what I thought was happening. So I jumped to the ledge and Emily just fucking fell. And I was like, oh.
They really make you live with, like, the choices you make. And then even, like, I think, like, later or something when she's, like, hanging, she'll, like, comment and be like, you fuck Matt, like, didn't fucking help me.
Yeah, but, like, when she's fucking there, when she falls, Matt's just kind of like, okay, moving on. Like, I'm like, dude, your girlfriend just died.
You're in a mine shaft. What are you gonna do? Like, you're in a fucking mine shaft. You gotta press on.
Emote for a second, at least. And, like, when Matt saw Jessica fall down that mine shaft, he moved on immediately. He was just like,
fuck this shit, I'm out.
He was just like, all right, whatever, that sucks. And just, guys.
All of these sound like personal problems.
I was like, yeah, have a moment. Like, take a moment to realize what just happened instead of just immediately pressing on. You know what I mean?
I promise to emote over your death before immediately pressing on.
Please, like, at least just something.
Gotcha. Well, just
an F in the chat. That's all I need. Just
an F in the chat. Plus, I have to pay respect. I feel like we've kind of encapsulated this one. I feel like it's obviously is it the most next gen game you could be playing? Probably not.
No, it's not like voice activated. It's not like voice activated Stay Alive. It's not next gen.
How dare you? We were so close.
It's not. That's advanced gaming.
That's advanced gaming.
So close.
My boy Frankie Muniz will tell you that is advanced.
It's such advanced gaming.
It's
so
advanced.
close. So close.
But, I recommend that if you haven't played this game, you should play Until Dawn. I think it's great. You have a chance to get all of these different endings and see what choices you'll make and will affect you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it for tonight, and I won't see you guys. We'll see you guys until morning.
Until next week, Ray.
Until morning. Yeah, morning.
Until dawn?
Yeah, until dawn.
Until dawn.
Actually.
Yo, can I just say, while we were recording this shit, like, I have a timer on my lights in here, And
Did they go off?
They did. They definitely did do that. And I normally know when they're going
Colton.
off. It's not only that, but like I forgot that it was daylight savings time recently, and I was like, those just went out a lot sooner than they normally do. While we were talking about when we were talking about getting into the Wendigo part of this, I was like,
good.
goodbye everybody. This is where I die on stream. Like this is it, man. Like
Just so you know, Zach and I would have edited and posted this.
I wouldn't doubt it, and I wouldn't want it I would not want it any other way. So
Your posthumous
Title, but
podcast.
it would really be true.
I'd love my last hurrah, my immediate capture by a Wendigo to be broadcast.
If Colton didn't drink a lean body energy drink in chapter 2,
If you gave Colton a vanilla lean body instead of banana,
And you can find
in chapter 5.
you can find the death totem where he drinks the chocolate one.
finding the battered copy of Donkey Kong Country is essential for Colton's survival.
Anyway,
I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in next week where we talk about something else.
Yes, and I would like to start adding this to the end as well. If you enjoyed this podcast, share it with someone who else you think might enjoy it, and that goes for all of our other episodes. You know, spread the love. I think this is really fun, and I hope that you guys enjoy it as well. So show it to someone who think you might like it.
Yeah. Go try play Until Dawn with them for 8 hours.
Oh yes, can we play Until Dawn and stream it?
Let's do it. I think we should also play their follow-up Man of Medan, which was fantastic and newer technology. You'd think that they'd be able to fix their control scheme, but they didn't.
Good.
Perfect. Just
Good.
what I wanted
Love
to see.
that.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
night.
guys. So, Zach, Rayne, did you guys ever watch a movie called Super Troopers?
Oh, don't do this to me.
Did you? Because I this might relate to the actual game that we were playing, and you know, the entire time I was playing this game, like just the strangers sounded like the strangers sounded like this. Hey, we're going to go kill the Wendigo, you know, like all that. So the only thing that I could think of every time he spoke was, "You boys like Wendigos?"
Cut the recording.
Oh man.